Everyone heard that. 3, 2, 1, intro. Or not.
Hello, good evening, good afternoon, or maybe good morning to all of you listening to us live, coming to you on twitch.tv/Holosuite Media, or, those of you who will be downloading us from iTunes and Stitcher in the days following. Hello again. Welcome to episode 103. Yes, 103 of Beyond the Veil, The Secret World. How are you all tonight? Well, it is our night. With me tonight on the show, we have Xander. Hi, Xander.
I don't want to talk.
You just want to listen?
No, I'm like really upset right now.
Oh, what is that?
Because you said hi, hello, you said good evening and good morning. Like, couldn't you leave something for the rest of us? Like, you covered everything. So if I said hi to everyone, it'd be like I was following your lead. So,
Or you can say bulk.
true. Good eye, mate. Aye.
There you go. You found something.
Crikey. Let's poke off a stick.
Let's not, at least not yet. Gigabyte, do you want to poke anyone with a stick?
No, but I might stick my thumb up its butt, Al.
Crikey.
How are you doing tonight?
Not too bad, thank you.
That's good. And tonight we have a fairly new player who has joined the game a few months back, and she is Spooksy. Hi, Spooksy.
Hi, everybody.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. All right, so we are going to be talking about what? It is a talk show after all, right? So we're going to be covering some of the events that are going to be happening in the game in the next few days or even in the next week. We'll also be telling you what the new items in the item store are for this week. And we are going to be talking about the weapons in the game. Okay. We're going to be touching up on what types of weapons we have, what weapons we have, what are our thoughts and opinions on them, or what would be our recommendations that you don't necessarily have to follow. It's just something that we kind of had to learn from experience, and hopefully some of the hints and tips that we share during the show will actually help a whole host of new players that have started the game recently, or newcomers to the game who have not been in the game since beta or since the game launched back in the summer of 2012. So that's what kind of got us to think. We've seen a lot of people, and we've also had new players join our cabal who have had tons and tons and tons of questions about weapons and weapon synergy and abilities and how does it all work and which weapons they should use. So that got us to think, well, maybe there's more of you out there who would like to know this. So we're going to be sharing some of that information with you. So without further ado, let's talk about them. What are the weapons of the secret world?
My mouth.
That's your biggest weapon?
And the biggest weapon on the forums is usually people's fingers. Preferably their pointer fingers, because you can tell by the grammar and the punctuations and the spelling that they only use the one finger.
Oh, really?
No, I was just making it up.
Okay.
He's pulling your leg.
I
I'll
can
tell
tell,
you
yeah,
what-
but sometimes he sounds so serious, and he even looks the part, and I'm thinking, really? And
He's
then
messing
he
with
just
you.
gonna, yeah.
He just trolled you.
You so got punked on your own show. Remember
Hey.
back?
Hey, that is not being punked. What we did to you is being punked.
I gotta tell you something though. I want
Tell
to.
it to me.
One thing that I want to know right off the bat about weapons. I want to know what skin Xander's wearing on his weapon on the back that he has. 'Cause
You want
it's
my
pretty,
skin?
It's pretty awesome looking. I like it. I was checking
This
it
is
out.
called the perforator. You cannot get this via any task in game. You can only get this via veteran points. So,
Oh, awesome!
are you a
sure.
subscriber?
Yes.
So once you get 5 veteran points, you go to the item store, and then you go to click the veteran points window, and there's all kinds of cool skins that you can get for your weapons. They don't alter stats or anything, they're just weapon skins, and this is the assault rifle one.
Why don't you walk the catwalk a little bit and show it off to everybody?
He
it's
is
pretty cool.
broadcasting it. He is broadcasting it.
Yeah. Everyone's looking at my ass right now. Look at my ass. Look at my ass. Yeah, look at my ass.
You're gonna get dizzy.
You better walk.
And who did
Superstar.
that? Who did that cool outfit that you're wearing?
Oh, that cool outfit was by
that's
that guy.
just some random dude out there.
Some guy that's been here waiting for this game since 2005. That same guy was in closed beta. That same guy was in open beta too.
Just to correct you, Xander, just a little bit. The perforator is actually available for 1,080 Funcom points for subscribers.
Is it?
Yeah, it's not a veteran one. It's a special one. Just for the
Yeah,
item store.
that's right. It came out when a whole host of other weapon skins came on, but some of them were veteran, I do believe.
Yeah,
Okay,
some of them
subtle
were, but not all of them.
persuasion.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
the
find it
subtle
now.
persuasion is the rifle for veteran points.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just basically an Arachi one, a black Arachi one that you can get in the game. And they're pretty expensive. They're 15 veteran points. But before we actually get to the skins, let's talk about the weapons. What are the weapons in the secret world?
My mouth.
Yeah, we already covered that. That is not a weapon. That is a tool, not a weapon.
I can think of a weapon.
You dirty,
Cheeky.
dirty dog.
Cheeky Brit.
I wasn't going there.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, we all know that. Alright, so there's 3 types of basic weapons in the secret world at the moment, okay? These are the same types of weapons that have been in the game since launch, I do believe. They are separated in 3 types: ranged, melee, and magic, okay? Xander has opened an ability wheel that you can actually see the division. The orange is melee, the red is ranged, and blue is magic type. Now, each type has its own subtype, its own weapon. So for example, melee has blades, hammers, and fists. Range has assault rifles, pistols, and shotguns. And magic has elementalism, chaos, and blood magic. So those are the three basic types of weapons that we have.
That's not including yours.
No, I was about to say there's also another type of weapon, the auxiliary weapon, which is in addition to your 2 weapons that you are able to equip. All right, those are also separated into types. You have ranged, that would be rocket launcher and flamethrower so far. Then you have melee, whip, and chainsaw. And then magic, you have quantum bracer. Okay? When it comes to, as you can see when you open the ability wheel, that is completely full of different abilities. Whereas for the auxiliary weapons, there are certain spots that are not occupied as yet. Instead, they're locked, empty. These are slots for the future auxiliary weapons. And as we were told by the game director himself, Joel Bylaws, is that the next auxiliary weapon will be of magic type. Okay.
Yeah, because there's going to be 3 different weapons for each category in auxiliary. Right now under range we have fire, flamethrower, and rocket launcher. Now flamethrower is more of a DPS because it all breaks down with the auxiliary weapons. There's going to be a DPS, a support, and defense. Right now rocket launcher is defensive. Flamethrower is offensive. Now we're missing one, which will be the support one in the range. Now when it comes to the melee, the whip is, I think, the more offensive. The chainsaw is definitely defensive because especially that diamond grit shield you get. And then again, you're missing the support one. And then in the third category, under magic, we have the quantum bracer, which is the only support one that we have so far. You'll find that medics or people that are healers use that one quite a lot.
Yeah, you'll find out as you play that you use certain abilities from these weapon trees and auxiliary weapon trees, that you use them more than you use others, okay? That's a matter of personal preference. We'll cover that in a bit. Now that we've actually told you what the weapons are, the way you started out in the secret world, and this is something that a lot of players have questions about because they're not used to it. You can actually have 2 weapons equipped on you right off the bat. Okay? So you can pick and choose. As you go through your tutorial, no matter which faction you are, during your tutorial, for you dragons, yes, after the foot massage, you will actually go, for example, for Templars, which I am a Templar, you go into a crucible.
I can't believe this. She went and the foot massage, and then just what happened? What? How come we? Wait a minute. She just threw the foot massage out there. And
this
we didn't
is
do
not
anything.
about foot massages. It's about the weapons. Concentrate on the weapons. Let's move on with the weapons.
You can't mention the foot massage without Xander going off on one. You know that.
Yeah, I know. So, like I said, for Templars, for example, you go into the Crucible during your tutorial, and you actually get a chance to try out all the weapons currently in the game, not including auxiliaries. Okay, you don't try out those, but you do get to try out all the other ones, and they are also separated in 3 different sections. melee, ranged, and magic.
Gotta keep them separated.
Yeah, so that you don't confuse them, right? You don't approach, say, a blade and go, ooh, this must be a shotgun.
Which end does the bullets come out of?
Yeah. That'd be bad. But basically, you have the ability right there and then to equip the weapon and to actually try it out on those test dummies. Okay, so you can actually see
I
how.
preferred the term intellectually challenged. It's
Alright.
rude calling them dummies. Like, come on. Just because they sit there and take it doesn't mean they're dummies. Maybe they like being shot. Maybe they like being stabbed. You know, think of their feelings. Like, oh my god. I'm so writing a letter to the head of the Irachi Corporation saying to relabel these guys intellectually impaired, not dummies. This is me standing up for the rights of the dummies. I mean, intellectually challenged.
Xander.
I'm sorry.
That's
Squirrel.
okay. Yeah. Squirrel. So you get a chance to actually try out all those weapons, and from trying them out you can actually get a feel for, you can actually even see like some people choose the first weapon that they will start out the game with because it looks cool. All right, they like the way the animations are when you actually use the abilities with that weapon, or they just like the idea of swinging a blade, for example, or carrying an assault rifle with them, or they actually go like, actually kind of go into the ability wheel. They're like research things more, and they actually look at the abilities that are under certain weapon types, and then they base it on what abilities they would like to have, what they would like to do with that weapon. So there's many ways and reasons why you should choose a weapon. We're just letting you know there's no like wrong or right way, and you can always switch it on later. In the secret world, you are never ever going to be needing to respec. Okay, you will be able eventually to swing a blade, to shoot any ranged weapon, to use any magic weapon. You will be able to use them all, including all of the abilities, actives and passives. So don't worry about making the wrong choice. You can always switch to another weapon.
It'll just end up hindering you in the beginning if once you find a weapon that you like, that you want to use, stick with it, put your points into that or into the deck that you want to use. And yes, you might come down to the point where I'm not sure if Gig was or maybe Spooksy, but in the beginning I started off with assault rifle because ex-army. I want my assault rifle and sword. I was gonna try the whole Buffy the Vampire Angel thing. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like Angel, motherfucker, But and then I was like, well, sword really sucks, Well, then to me it sucked, and I did research online, and I found out that the most effective DPS build is elemental DPS or elemental assault rifle, for long range. And I'm like, crap. So instead of getting a respec, since you can't respec in game, instead of getting all those blade ability points back to put into magic, I just had to go out and grind some more to get them back.
So what did you Gigabyte, when you were like a fresh noob right out the gate? Which weapons did you choose?
To be honest, I did a little bit of research when I started playing the beta. Well, actually, before we started playing the beta,
You
'cause there was a bit of
cheated!
information. Well, no, there was a bit
That's
of
not
information out.
cheating.
And I was part of a guild at the time that was really anticipating this game, and we were moving from DCUO, which was declining at the time, into Secret World. And we all kind of did a lot of research anyway into the game, and I had already decided that the combination that I loved the look of was pistols and swords. So I started out with pistols when I did the training mission, and I got a sword as soon as I could to kind of complete the combo. And as soon as I saw that there was a deck within the Templar builds that combined those two weapons, I aimed straight for that, and I just started getting as many of those abilities as I could. And to be honest, that's stood me good. I absolutely love that. That's my solo build of choice.
The paladin.
Yeah. It's slightly modified over the years that I've played it, because obviously I've found other abilities that suit my playstyle.
And changed his costume.
Sorry?
And changed his costume, colored his
Yeah.
hair, did his nails.
I've actually dubbed the modified paladin deck the Gigadin deck.
Cool.
You just got gigabyte.
Gigabyte.
Do we have the Gigadin posted?
Gigadin.
Gigadin, hang on. Let me find it.
She wants to play with Gigadin.
And
Let's
mind
play
you,
the
in this
Gigadin.
game as well, one really cool thing is that you can share your decks with anyone, and regardless of whether or not you actually have, as a player, you have all the abilities, you can still save that deck in your gear manager for later, and then, or you can modify it with abilities that you do not currently have, and use other ones that are very similar to the ones that you're missing, or you can just hold off on using it until you've actually acquired all those abilities and then use it. So that's one pretty cool thing. And you can also, like, if you encounter someone, you go either in a dungeon, or you go play solo, and you group up with someone and you just notice, oh my god, they can kill the mobs so much faster. I wonder which weapons are using, which deck, which abilities. And you can always ask them to share their deck with you. And if they are nice and kind, they will do that. And then you will have another avenue of information.
Warning, warning, incoming rude conversation. Hi, I'm just so amazed about your deck. Can you please share your deck with me? Pretty, please. I want to see your deck.
You'd be surprised
No.
how many people say that. And
No.
people just go,
Your
sure.
deck is so nice. It's
Screw
so,
off, dude.
wow. I so want to play for deck.
Yeah.
Ew.
So did you share it?
Yeah. it's
Yeah, I'm
in the
looking at it
group
right
chat.
now.
You're like,
Yeah, looking at it right now. Xander.
hey, no.
You better close your eyes. You're not allowed to watch that. You're
Well,
not allowed to.
I wanted
You
to see
are
his deck
not
too.
allowed.
I wanted to see his deck too. Like, oh, share.
So,
That's
is
not
there,
so
are
big
there,
after all.
are there any other thoughts, like right off the bat? Like, did you have to switch? You opted for pistols and blade. Did you kind of go, oh man, yeah, at any given point in time? I know you said you pretty much kind of had the same weapons, but did you like ever think maybe it's time to change it, or use some other weapons on a more permanent basis?
Not really, no. I mean, like I say, it stood me in good stead. I've gone through Solomon Islands, I've gone through Egypt, I've gone through Transylvania, I've gone through almost the entire game with just this deck. Like I say, I've changed little bits here and there as I've gone through, but it's been there all the time. I've never really had to change anything until I got into dungeon running, because this doesn't work too well in dungeons.
Yeah, one thing to note is that you will have decks for different things. You will have decks for soloing, especially like if you have certain missions that require you to have a lot of AOE, not AOE, a lot of mobs. Sorry, that you need to kill at once. Of course, you're not going to be picking, I don't know, maybe shotgun or assault rifle, but you might go in with some sort of frenzy attacks from melee range, like fists and blade, and even chaos as well with escalation, the builder from there. So, you can constantly keep on changing or adapting and building on what you already have chosen. So that's always pretty darn good.
We have a message from our chat channel here. Hi, Twitch chat channel. Fraud57 has asked, anyone here in the chat channel managed to get to the end and still not have certain weapons in their possession? I can answer this one.
Go.
It's freaking impossible not to have every single weapon in game. Completely.
Yeah,
well,
because
not the auxiliaries. I'd say that it's
yeah,
possible
I
for
wanted
not
to say only the auxiliaries, and that's only if you don't do the mission. Okay, but sooner or later you're gonna get into dungeons, and you will find really good uses for them, especially nightmare dungeons, elite and nightmare dungeons.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, it depends on what you mean by the end. Like the end of existence itself, well, you'd have everything in the game if you really put your mind to it. So before the world destroys, yes, you could possibly potentially have every weapon. Now, the end of the game, well, technically the game hasn't ended yet and probably won't end for quite some time. But if you mean to the end of your storyline, current storyline, you can actually get to, start the game and do at least one run through of each mission in the game and the storyline. And at that point, when you finish completion, you should have enough ability points. There's ability points that you put in to get powers, and then there's SP, which is skill points that you can put in to, be able to equip higher gear. Okay, now you'll have halfway through, you'll have enough SP to get everything that you'll be able to equip everything you want halfway through the main story play. Now, once you finish your story mission, I guarantee that even if you just done the one mission once, every mission once, you probably have enough AP to completely fill the two weapons that you want, and probably 50% of the ability wheel. It's not going to give you everything. You're not going to be able to buy every single skill in the game without, going and replaying some content or doing some dailies, stuff like that. If you look on my screen right now, I have the ability wheel completely 100%, and I think it took me casual play 1 year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
it
with,
really
like-
depends what you mean by the end.
Well, that's with like double SP and stuff like that, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I use double SP. I play on the weekends. I give out double AP SP. I
Slushy.
used my slushy. I use milkshakes. Now, just so people know what the difference between slushy and milkshakes are, the slushy is a veteran, not a veteran. It's a GM or a subscriber item. It's a little item. It's a reusable bonus that we can use for 1 hour every day.
It's called the time accelerator. It grants 100% more XP from monster kills for 1 hour and can be used once every 16 hours.
Yep. And then the other one are the milkshakes. Basically, they're different varieties of them in the store itself. Everyone has access to them. You can buy them. You can buy those, and either you get SP or AP for 1 day, 2 days, a weekend, or 3 hours, 2 hours in-game time. There's even potions in there that you can buy that gives you 100 AP automatically, just like that. Injections.
Injections,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you can only use the 100 and the 50, and that's it for the week.
It is important to note that the SP bonuses are only available to those people who have beaten the gatekeeper and therefore unlocked their participation in nightmare dungeons. All right, so back to the weapons. There's so many different things to cover. Feel free to ask any questions as we go along. We'll do our best to answer them.
And don't forget when Antita was talking about when you go into the dungeon and you get to test all the weapons before you choose one. After you've chosen one, and then you leave the dungeon, and then you go talk to your faction head, your handler. After you talk to them, you can go back to the dungeon and claim a second one for free. Absolutely free. Order now. Within the next 30 seconds, we'll throw you a katana just for the hell of it. Well, okay, dungeon training room. They call it whatever they call it. The den, the gym, the gaim. You know, whatever you call
Yeah,
it.
to the training room. To the training room. It was just a
I
slip
mean-
of the tongue because we talked about dungeons.
Yeah, you can get a second one straight out, but strictly speaking, would you be able to use it straight away? Because I don't think you'd have the
Yes.
enough AP to get those abilities. Would you?
Zero quality. You can use right away. All you
No,
need
no.
all
I
you need is
mean-
one AP point to put into one skill of that weapon, and that's
You
it.
you basically get one weapon though from the what you call it during your training, and as you get to as you finish the first mission, as you enter Kingsmouth and you actually get to the police station in Kingsmouth,
You get
on
to choose a new
completion
one
of
straight
that
away,
first
don't you?
mission, you actually get to choose another weapon.
So I just
Yeah.
waited till I got to the sheriff station.
Yeah, so that there's no confusion. You don't get to pick both of your weapons during the tutorial. You pick one, and with that one weapon, you have to complete mission number 1. That is at the very entrance in the Kingsmouth. And upon completion of that particular mission, you actually get, once you submit report, you can choose which other weapon you would actually like,
Yeah, but
and then
the
you can
thing
equip
is,
it.
the thing is, before you even leave your faction headquarters, you get three AP and like 2 SP. Your inner wheel weapons, like I said, are only 1 AP. So you go back, you spend an ability point, and say for me it was assault rifle, and then I go into the faction headquarters, get my mission to go to Kingsmouth. But before I went to Kingsmouth, I went back down to the training office, the gym. I picked up my second weapon, which was the blade at the time, which was the sword, and then I used my other 2 AP into the swords.
Yep. So there
Okay.
you go. There is another way that you can actually get the second weapon.
Yeah.
All right. Spooksy, how did you go about picking your first weapon?
Well, basically, I started. Melee, and one friend wanted to do, and wanted to tank, and one friend wanted to heal, and I wanted to pew pew. So.
Was she
and I wanted-
twerking?
Huh?
Was she twerking? Because you said one friend wanted to do melee. So.
I guess. Anyway, I wanted to go ahead and fling fireballs and blood all over the place. So blood elemental looked good to me, and since one of them was going to tank and the other one was going to do some healing and everything, I went ahead and started, with the whole elemental focus first, and then blood. Yeah,
And what did you choose for your second weapon?
blood.
Oh, so you completely went down the magic path.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
I was into that. That was
You're
my
into
So you
thing.
didn't
blood,
want any conventional weapons. That didn't interest you.
No, it didn't. I just wanted to fling fireballs and lightning and blood splatters all over the place.
For those of you who don't know, like whenever we go into dungeons and Spooky has to do any kind of buffs, she's like, "Oh, but I don't want to. I just want to pew pew."
Yeah, that's my thing. I
She
want to
says
pew
it's so
pew.
cute.
I just want to cut
Yeah.
myself and kill mobs and bosses. That's all I want to do.
No.
Is just cut myself.
Yeah, one important thing to mention is that a lot of when you choose blood as a weapon, a lot of the abilities can be used by actually doing a small amount of damage to yourself. So in using those abilities, you actually end up losing health. So you do need something to replace the health that you've lost, or in dungeons you need a healer that heals you up, or you need to take a potion.
Yeah, I stress out healers because I'm always running blood offering. And they're like, silly blood mage, always cutting herself. Fun.
Yes, it is. I have to say, on my part, I actually opted for blade. When I was trying out different weapons, I just couldn't equip an assault rifle. I just couldn't. For some dang reason, I could equip a shotgun and pistols, but I could not equip an assault rifle. So I didn't even get to try that out. Hammers just did not appeal to me at all.
They didn't to me either.
Fist was kind of like interesting, but it was like, yeah, I don't know. I kind of look like Wolverine, but that's not really my thing. And then when I came, when I came to Blade, I was like, ooh, I like this. I was just like, swirling around and hitting everything, and it was like, yeah, this is my thing. This is what I'm gonna do. And for the second one, I actually chose elementalism, simply because, yeah, I wanted to shoot fireballs off someone's ass, I guess, too. So yeah, that was something that was cool to me to use as a second weapon. So I started out with those two.
The Grim one in the Twitch chat channel says that they always ended up killing themselves using blood, so they stopped using it. Which I'm a big proprietor of that. You shouldn't be actively running around slitting your wrist for many reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one thing I didn't like about blood.
You have to have a lot of self heals on there on your
I have a
passives.
hard enough time keeping myself alive in game as it is. I don't need a weapon that's going to kill me quicker.
But it's fun.
Going back on what Front 54 was asking about
Those
about
of you, those who are running nightmares regularly, are there certain Venice weapons you still do not have? I was just curious about what other players did, if they collected at least one purple of each kind or concentrated on their two favorites, etc. They've been playing for 2 years now and they still don't have a purple hammer or chaos. Well, that just fucking sucks.
Well, isn't that
Yeah,
more
I mean-
just down to the drops, or
Yeah.
down to actually being able to run dungeons to get the bullion to then buy those?
Yeah, because I mean, the thing is, let's not forget that purple weapons are endgame weapons, and they only come from certain places in the game. So you don't not up until a couple of months ago, Carpathian Fangs was the highest level area in the game, and there were no purple drops in there. Okay. Likewise, in Tokyo, you don't actually get purple drops that, drop from the mob, or you get as reward for finishing up a mission. Well, okay, you do for wrapping up certain DLCs, like issues 6, 7, and 8, and now 9 in Tokyo. So those are the exceptions to the rule. But the place where you do get any kind of purple gear, including purple weapons, is by doing, say, PvP, quite a lot of it.
Don't.
And then you can upgrade those weapons all the way to 10.4 with black marks. which before you could only upgrade using Venice gear. So if you started off with something that you got in PvP, you had to keep on upgrading it by doing PvP.
I'm just gonna cut right in there and say, don't even bother. Don't even bother with PvP gear at all, because you can't upgrade it to 10.5. And
Not yet.
okay, yeah, not yet, but they said they're going to do a PvP. They're going to do a PvP issue, which will be issue
12.
12, yes. So by that time, maybe they'll make it so you can upgrade it to 10 point whatever, right?
10.5,
But currently,
yeah.
currently you can't do it unless at all. The only gear that can be customized up to 10.5 in game is custom gear, and the only custom gear you can get is in the dungeons.
Actually, no, you don't get them in the dungeons. You get the Nightwatch glyph toolkits, which you use for glyphs.
Yes.
But you also get, as reward for defeating bosses in dungeons, you get black bullion. And then you can use that black bullion at your faction headquarters vendor to actually buy custom gear, and it will say custom. So you can buy custom weapons there, and those weapons are upgradable all the way to 10.5.
And that's gonna be the history of the game. It doesn't matter where you come from. If it says custom, that's it. That's the stuff that you're gonna want to go for, because that's the stuff that's gonna be upgradable all the way.
Are we exclusively talking about weapons, or are we talking about gear? Because I think for new players, you should encourage them to go ahead and do those issue quests if they want to get some purples right away.
That's why I mentioned them. That's why I mentioned them. The thing is,
Well, no, we're
You
just
don't-
answering Fraud's question.
this was in answer to Fraud 54's question, but we haven't. We just, like I said, we're expanding as people are asking certain questions. So there's so much to cover with the secret world, especially when it comes to weapons and decks and weapon synergy. And in a way, it's almost like a science on its own.
Yeah, because
Math.
for me, as a newer player, what's been very, very helpful is, well, not only the resource of veterans who are willing to help, and there's been quite a few that have been very nice and helpful.
Yeah, what'd you say, Lassie? I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, he's such an old man. And then the other thing that has been really great are the gear calculators out there that will help players plan out the gear that they're going to have for questing or for dungeons. Usually you can get away with 2 sets to begin with, one for dungeons and then one for everything else, if you plan it out well. And this will help everybody save those precious black bullions, because you'll be able to plan out and double up on pieces. The more pieces that you can use in both sets of gear, the better off you are to start with. And then after you've got those 2 foundation sets, I find it's easier to start branching out.
Yeah, it really depends on the play style. A lot of people who play the secret world basically play it for the story, but it's an undeniable fact that as you progress in your storyline, you get more and more into more quote-unquote difficult areas. Difficult in the sense that mobs have different kinds of attacks. They have much higher health. They have a much higher evade rating, so they can even evade certain attacks that you do. If your gear is not up to par, you will be glancing a lot. So basically what that means is you can be shooting them or hitting them with whatever weapon you want, with whatever ability you have, but if you do not have enough weapon power, you're going to be glancing, doing almost 0 damage to them, and they're going to kill you in just a few shots. So as you progress through the game, it's always a smart idea to actually do the dungeon that is in there, okay? You can do the dungeons first of course, on a normal level. Okay, every area has a dungeon that you can try out. You can always ask in Noobmare's chat channel if anyone is willing to help. You can also sometimes ask in Sanctuary channel, or your best bet a lot of the times is just to announce it in the general chat, because that covers the zone that you are in. If you are a solo player who does not have a cabal yet, okay? So always ask, is anyone up for this mission? I see it all the time in the Solomon Island zones. And if you are sorry.
I was just saying, you don't get unless you ask, do you?
Exactly. And the fact of the matter is, in these dungeons, you will actually get blue gear of the same quality level. All right, so that means it's going to be that much stronger and will definitely help you out not be as frustrated because you'll keep on dying in certain missions that might be harder or in the next zone. So you will be more prepared when it comes to your weapon rating, weapon attack rating. If of course you are a member of a cabal, I'm pretty sure you will find many people who will help you along and play the content with you, not only the group content but also the solo one, to help you out with certain missions, to help you with advice, to help you with advice when it comes to just replacing one single ability. So if you don't have a cabal out there, please get in touch. We'll be glad to help you out. We have our own cabal, Beyond the Veil. We have all 3 chapters, so feel free to get in touch. We will definitely hook you up.
Or even if you are in a cabal and you're just having trouble getting into a group of people.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah,
some
hit us up.
cabals are not as active anymore.
Yeah, if you see us in game, hit us up. See if we're busy.
Most definitely.
I love being hit on.
I'll bet you do.
I'm a sexy
Slut.
beast.
What?
Man, whore.
Wow.
Oh.
On the head potty.
So, how do you actually advance? We talked about attack rating, and we talked about the power that your weapon has. It's not. It doesn't come just from the ability. As Xander has mentioned before, in questing and in continuing through the game, you will have to take care of 2 things. You will have to accumulate ability points in order to purchase or learn certain weapon skills or abilities, and then you will actually need the skill points in order to increase the skill level. And as you increase skill level from 1 to 10, you will actually gain more powerful weapons. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Another thing that can help you out immensely is that first, when it comes to progressing in the game and making it easier on yourself, do take care of your talismans. Okay, you have head talismans, majors, and minors. Always, as you increase your weapons, increase your talismans. Okay, please do that and you will be on the right path. Try to do the majors first, head talisman second, and then minors third. That would be my advice. Anyone else have different kinds of advice when it comes to that?
Just remember that the SP, the more SP you put in, the higher quality of the weapon you can put in. It doesn't necessarily make you stronger, it just means you can equip something the next level up.
That goes with talismans as well, though, doesn't it? Because you can increase the talisman skill as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this
Always
is
try-
where the
always
true
try and keep
power
them.
comes from, actually.
Think of it as your license. You can't drive a Class A vehicle unless you have a Class A license. Once you get that, oh, hey, I want a motorcycle now. So you go get a motorcycle license.
When I was quote unquote leveling up, don't need to level up. But as I was progressing through the game, I tried to keep my talisman level on most commonly used weapon level.
Yeah.
And that way everything was current.
Yeah, that's right. And you'll probably notice as you open the ability wheel, when you go under skill points, for the weapons, you actually don't just have like skill level 1 to 10. You actually can invest points into, for example, for fist, damage or healing. So because with fist you can do a lot of damage. It's quite powerful melee weapon, but you also have very powerful heals. Okay, so if you increase the damage but not the healing, you might equip an ability that's for healing, but it's not going to do nearly enough of the healing it can do unless you actually up the healing to a higher skill level. So do keep that in mind. That goes for any weapon out there. For example, pistol damage and support, elemental damage and support, and so on.
But that's only depending on how you're going to play. If you're going in as a new player, and you want to solely be DPS, so you grab your assault rifle for the first time, don't bother with healing because you're there to shoot things, not to heal things. So put all your skill points into damage. Once the damage is filled, then you can put it into healing. Now,
Yeah.
I do not remember. I think it goes to the highest that you have. So if you have 3 in damage and 2 in healing, you can equip a quality 3. I do believe you equip a quality 4, because you always equip the quality above.
Above, yes.
So you can equip a quality 4 assault rifle. I don't think damage and healing have to be at the same level. I think it goes by the highest. Now someone else can
I do believe that's right.
So if you have damage all the way to skill 10 on assault rifle, you can equip a skill 10, a quality 10 rifle.
Yep. And as you progress through the game, you'll get to know the weapons more and more. You'll be able to learn more new abilities. And there will come a point, as we've already mentioned, where you will need to go into dungeons and consider the role that you would actually like to play. If you would like to know right off the bat, okay, I definitely want to be a DPS. I don't want to be anything else. What are the weapons that are best for DPS? Xander.
Absolute best weapons in DPS is assault rifle elemental.
Okay, so you do what Xander is saying. Yes, it's one of the combos that you can use. That's not to say that you cannot use other combos. For example, I use pistol and shotgun as one of my DPS builds. For a DPS, you can basically go 3 ways. You have short range DPS, mid range, and long range. Weapons that are best for short range are obviously going to be melee range, something that you have to be there up close and personal with the mob and with the bosses. So blade, hammer, and fists are the best ones for that. Do keep in mind that if you do go down the short range DPS route, that you really have to be experienced and know where to stand in dungeons, so you don't get cleaved, so you don't get filth on you, so you really, because you're going to be up there with the tank. You need to make sure that you're not going to be taking aggro from the tank as well. So that's for the short range. The mid range, there's pistol and shotgun, and that is also one very powerful combo, and it allows you, in addition to really good abilities, to equip certain damage buffs that increase DPS of everyone in the group, okay, who's doing damage. and those are of course very useful in dungeons. In addition to that, they also provide you with an ability to include purges, such as cleanup, which is extremely helpful in dungeons as well. Then you have long range DPS, and for long range you basically use, as Xander had mentioned, assault rifle, elementalism, and blood as well. Okay?
Chaos.
Chaos as well, that's true, but chaos is more of a mid-range for me, I think.
All magics are really ranged.
It depends on ability.
Thing
All the chaos abilities that I have are either short or mid-range.
Yeah, but the majority of the magics, I call them magics. The majority of the magics are long range. There are abilities there that can be either medium or short range. Now you take pistols. Pistols is actually short range. It's not really long range. Medium range.
It's mid.
The only pistol doesn't have the same range as shotgun. I do believe the majority of the range that shotguns have is over pistols.
Yes, but
Can you
still
back me up on that, Kate?
not enough as assault rifle. Hence me putting them in mid range.
What do you think, Gig? Gig fell down. He's going timber.
When I used Antita's pistol shoddy build, when nobody lets me pew pew, and they make me do the buffing. Well, I've noticed that the shotgun consumer has a lower range than the pistol consumers.
Yeah, but the overall arc of the pistol, is longer than, shorter than the shotgun.
They can differ by a few meters, but they are still considered both to be mid-range. So, for example, when you go into New York Raid, you basically stand in the mid-range DPS buff. So, All right, so that's for the DPS. So basically choose which weapons you would like to have as a DPS based on what range you actually want to have in dungeons as well. When it comes to the tank, I do believe that Blade, Hammer, and Chaos are the three weapons that should be considered first and foremost. That doesn't mean that other weapons cannot be considered or used in addition to any one of these three. But usually Blade, Hammer, Blade, Chaos, Hammer, Chaos, those are the combos of builds that you will find most common even for endgame tanks in this game.
There's a reason why MC Hammer said it's hammer time.
You know what? Funnily enough, even though I started tanking in this game, and I still do on occasion, I tend to stick with Blade and Chaos. And I don't know why, but somehow I never really got into Hammers. And Hammers have excellent tanking abilities. I just, for some dang reason, like I said right off the bat, they didn't really appeal to me. And
they're not as sexy as I'm sorry, but the Chaos Blade combo is uber sexy. It looks cool. The animations are cool. Hammer, not so much.
It almost looks like you're dancing with them when you're going around the boss and in between the mob.
It's really pretty and nice to watch.
Yeah.
And much respect to tanks. When I see them doing that, it looks so cool. So, yeah.
Yeah, the animations I think are pretty cool. The only thing is, like, another thing to remember is that when it comes to picking the abilities that you will be using in dungeons, their animations are going to actually, believe it or not, play a part in determining whether or not you will be using them. There are certain powerful animations out there that like the uber geared ones will not use under any circumstance because they take like 1.5 seconds to cast simply due to the animation that they produce before they actually do the damage. And they constantly say, no, I actually lose 1.5 seconds of DPS time. So when you multiply that by how many times in a rotation during the fight you actually will hit off that ability, it can amount to quite a fair amount of damage that you miss out on, that your team misses out on. So
That's a fair point. That's a really fair point.
So yeah, there's a number of those that, like Red Mist, it does really a huge amount of damage, but it takes like a few seconds from the moment you actually hit the ability to when it actually fires. So and it's an elite. It's an assault rifle elite. Every weapon type has a few elite abilities that you can equip only one of, because they either provide lots of DPS, great support, or great healing. Okay, so you will only be able to equip one of those, active ability and passive ability, on your deck. Okay, so that's definitely something to watch out on.
One thing I have to say about hammers, okay? You can make them sexy if you just like go ahead and you look for the axe skins. Those axe skins, you can go ahead and heave a big ass battle axe at people like you were Braveheart or something. Now that I can get into.
Braveheart never used a battle axe.
No, he used a big old broadsword, but that was only in the movie.
Who's to say, we can wield an axe in here,
Or
like a sword.
like a big ass Viking or whatever.
We could guess the Viking. What did they do to you?
No, I'm saying that having an axe would be kind of cool. I should play with one of those.
Yes. There's
Welcome
There's
to Beyond the
different-
Veil. Will we encourage you to play with your axe?
There you go.
axe or axe.
You can axe me later.
Yes. So, and of course, the third role in the dungeon belongs to healers. Now, the best healing builds do come initially from Blood and Fist. Okay. Later on, you will probably, if you're a healer, you will be asked to leech heal. Okay. That means you're going to be using assault rifle and maybe even pistols as well. Assault rifle is a weapon that has a huge amount of, well, not huge, but a fairly decent amount of leeching abilities.
Which makes absolute no sense whatsoever.
Why?
Because it's an assault rifle. It goes pew pew, it doesn't make sense that you can actually leech, Now blood or chaos, or like magic in general, that kind of makes sense. It's magic, it doesn't make sense. So therefore, it would make sense that would leech. You could leech with that. But it doesn't make sense, running around in Egypt and I shoot one of the, bad guys in the head, and then I get hit points. I get, extra health because of it. It's like, damn,
Well, it might not make sense. I do agree with you on that one, for the assault rifle to have it, but nonetheless, it does have those abilities when it comes to leeching, and it basically heals you for a certain percentage or a certain amount of the damage that you deal to the mob in front of you. So, it's pretty useful, and in some fights in Nightmare Dungeons, you cannot, well, not that you cannot, but it's recommended that you actually have a leech healer. And there's even abilities out there, even elite abilities like Reap and Sow, that when you hit off, basically if everyone has a tank targeted, they can heal the tank, all of them, based on the group DPS. So, the tank survives thanks to their DPS. So there's There's 525 abilities on the wheel itself. So there's 525 abilities that you can play with. There's active abilities and there's passive abilities. The weapons, as we've already shown you the ability wheel, they are locked for certain weapons. So you cannot equip an active blade ability to, say, an assault rifle, because that just doesn't go. But when it comes to passives, passive ability, any ability can be equipped to any other weapon. Whether or not it's actually going to do something positive to your deck, whether it's actually going to add to it, that's another question. But, just something to keep in mind, simply because you have picked a blade, for example, to use as one of your active weapons, that doesn't mean that all the passives have to come from the blade. You can use passives from the entire tree as you see fit. So, Xander, what you said that assault rifle and elementalism is your favorite combo. Why? Why do you like it so much?
Well, let's just say I shoot someone in the head with red mist and then I zap their ass with Thor's hammer. One of the two heaviest hitting abilities in the game. One of them is red mist, and that is, for the doing dungeons and stuff like that. It's not really a good thing using that, because it does take that 1.5 second casting cost. But here I am saying casting cost like I'm playing Hearthstone. Well, by the way, which is one of our shows, A Worthy Opponent. Check in Mondays on Hall Sweet Media. Anyway, so using red mist, basically, if you buff yourself, right, if you fire off your buffs, like short fuse is elemental. Now, short fuse dries up your combat stats, and then there's a passive called final fuse, which buffs it even more and makes it longer. So when you use this with maybe some of a rifle enema, or what's that, ambrosia, or maybe some elixirs to give you 100 more penetration, stuff like that, fire off short fuse, and then you use red mist. I have downed players in PvP. I've downed enemies in the world with one shot. It's a one hit wonder. And this is elemental and the assault rifle combined together. They have good synergy together, just like other ones like chaos and hammer have good synergy. Chaos does lots of good attacks that impair, and there's some passives on hammer that you use that when you impair a creature, you can pin it to the floor and knock it down on the next shot, on the next hammer hit or whatever. And these different things synergize, which makes the ability for whatever you want to accomplish happen faster. Like me, I just want you're on my screen. I want you off my screen. Get off my screen. The best way to get you off my screen is to shoot you in the face.
That would work. What about you, Spooksy? What's your favorite weapon combo?
Do you have to ask? It's blood and elemental, of course.
Why?
Because it's fun. I like the fact that I like the bloodline bloodshot combo. It is fast. You don't have a lot of animation downtime on it, so you can spam that bloodshot over and over and over again. And sure, it's not going to give you as much an impressive one-hit wonders like with the Thor's hammer, but it doesn't have that lengthy animation, so you can go ahead and make up for that. Also, I've noticed that lately there's been some glitches with Thor's hammer where sometimes it just doesn't register, and there's a glitch that happens every once in a while, and I don't want to take that chance when I'm building up my consumers and I'm ready to hit off and take advantage of a buff that's been given to the party. So
Well, no,
um,
Thor's hammer always lands. It's just that sometimes you don't see the hammer.
no. You won't see the numbers. You won't see the numbers in the combat log or anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't register the hit. But
So
that's a fairly recent bug that has happened occasionally.
So if I were to go with, let's say, an elemental consumer that was good, that would take, more, a lengthier animation, I would probably do Blaze or Flame Strike. But for the most part, I like to stick with Bloodline Bloodshot just simply because it's fast and I can
Yep.
I can spam and make the numbers up that way.
I make
Yeah,
numbers
plus-
up all the time.
Plus, it's a very handy combo because you can always slot in short fuse, which gives all group members a damage increase by 15% for 10 seconds. So basically, for 10 seconds, everybody does 15% more damage than they would. Okay, and combine that with, say, Deadly Aim and Breaching Shot, which also give a DPS increase. Your entire DPS group can do quite a bit, like a fair amount of damage increase to a boss in a dungeon. So that just goes down as shorter fight for you. Maybe not that many ads that spawn. Maybe not certain abilities that a boss casts if the fight is prolonged. So a lot of DPS is always a good idea. And in Nightmare Dungeons, end game gear, end game group content, you definitely want to have someone in your group actually do these buffs. They are of great help.
Let me add something else about that. In terms of the Bloodline Bloodshot combo, the nice thing about that build is that the rotation is fairly straightforward and simple. So it's nice to have that, especially when you're starting out, because timing your rotation off when you're not as experienced as some of the other players, it can get really harrying, and you don't want people getting aggravated with you or whatever. So I find that keeping it simple is always
baby, kiss.
is a lot better. Also, some of the pistol shotgun builds that are out there, the rotations are fairly straightforward as well.
Yep, that's right. And
so that's something
like
to
that
keep.
when-
That's something to keep in mind when you're thinking of DPS decks for nightmares or dungeons.
Oh. I don't like it when people do post decks and they don't tell you the rotation or how to use it.
I know.
When we post decks, we always teach you how to use it. Like Battlestar Galactrix, everyone looks at it as like, wow, this is the craziest mishmash of things. This deck's no good. But then, you tell them how to use it, and then, with firing off
starts
three,
making sense, yeah.
yeah, you fire off 3 abilities, you just kill, a mob of 10 critters.
It's helpful when people post decks to post the rotation and how to use it, and also how to gear for it, because a lot of times, especially with some survival decks, they want you to have, like, for it to actually work, you need a smidgen of heal, you need a smidgen of HP, then you need, so much crit, so much block, so much this, so much that. It's nice for people to include the specs for their gear and stuff that would be, helpful when you're new.
This is something that we're actually going to go into more detailed explanations in next week's show, simply because there's just so much to talk about. So we're just touching on the weapons and giving you some hints and tips about the weapons that you could potentially use right off the bat. FC Davici in the Twitch chat says, I like builds that do not need the 5 builders. And yeah, I do agree. That's cool. Because you've heard us talk about rotations. Rotations are extremely important in the build. This is where the synergy between weapons and abilities comes to play. And this is something that we're going to be covering in the next episode of Beyond the Veil next week on Thursday. It is imperative. Like we can give, or someone can give the same deck to 10 different people, and 10 different people will get some very like shockingly different results, completely like black and white. And then there's going to be probably the majority of people will get it somewhere in the middle. They're going to get round about the same results. Why? Because their rotation of usage of abilities that they currently have equipped will not be the same. Okay, they will not cast them in the same order. They will not cast them in the same number. So you really need to pay attention, not when you're considering like increased damage, increased heals, how you tank. You really need to take into consideration not just your active abilities, but also the passive abilities.
And also take into consideration your footwear.
Of course,
Oh, okay.
clothes matters.
Shoes matter quite a lot.
And not only that, I got locked out of my dressing room for
Hats-
3 days because my
hats matter.
boots said so. My boots locked me out of my. I couldn't change my clothes because of my boots.
Yeah. Spooky, I know you have to go now. Thank you so very much for joining us and giving us your insight, dear.
No problem, anytime. Talk to you later, guys.
Later.
Later.
Yeah, so on with the weapons. We have talked about the weapon combos, and you have heard us in the very beginning of the game actually mention weapon skins. Yes, there are so many different weapon skins that you can use to change the appearance of any weapon that you have. There's a whole bunch of, like, every time a weapon comes to you, it will already be, of course, skinned. It will have a certain appearance, but that appearance can be changed. Okay, you can also craft different weapons of course, different looks. So you can use, in order to change the appearance of your weapons, you can use the various weapon skins that are out there. You can also use blueprints and molds. Blueprints, you basically get a set of 3 blueprints that you then have to use with a kit in order to change the appearance of your weapon. Okay, you do not destroy the weapon, but what happens is you just change its appearance. All right. Blueprints usually come, like I said, in sets of 3. Blueprint 1, 2, and 3. You can find them at the auction house. Some are really ridiculously expensive. Some are not. Some are not. For example, I'm wearing an Arachi rocket launcher. This is just a regular rocket launcher that I had actually skinned using the Arachi mold. Now, molds are actually blueprints which are combined into one mold, so you don't have to combine blueprints separately. It shortens the process of actually creating a weapon skin or putting the weapon skin on your weapon. You can get, I mentioned blueprints. Those are drops that drop from Nightmare Dungeons, okay? And you have Demonic, you have Corrupted, Orochi, and Sovtech ones. So those are the 4 types, and you can use those blueprints or molds to change the appearance of any of your weapons. Include auxiliary weapons are actually different, but when it comes to regular weapons, you can use it on any one of them and it will just change their appearance. You can also buy various weapon skins from the item store. Either you can buy them, for veteran points. You can buy certain weapons there. You can also buy weapons of different skins from vendors in the zones. So you can always check those out.
And don't forget the fact that in some of the FC Davachi said Sovtech all the way. Some of the Sovtech whip does look badass. The Sovtech whip. I don't think I like any other of the Sovtech stuff. Actually, no, the guns, the pistols do look kind of outrageously cool. But in Kingsmith with Sequence of Solomon in Kingsmith, you can buy weapon kits. You take this kit. It's a casting kit. If you have a skin of a weapon that you like, you can also buy them in London. If you have a weapon that you like, let's say a QL2 assault rifle. Its actual name is G36 Tactical Assault Rifle. In real life, that's what it's called, the G36. It's just called QL4 or QL2, green kit in the game. It doesn't actually say the name of the actual weapon, but that's what it looks like. And let's just say you're an army nut, or you've worked in the army, or you just like the gun, and you have, lo and behold, you have a 10.5 assault rifle that looks like it's from the Bridge of the Enterprise, and you're like, well, it doesn't quite fit my character. It's a Rochi, assault rifle, but it just doesn't quite fit my character. What do I do? Well, you put the quality 4 G36 kit gun into your crafting window, and then you put the mold kit into the tools area, and what it does is it rips the skin. It destroys the weapon, but it rips the skin from the weapon itself and then saves it as a mold. And there you have a mold which you can place on any weapon you want.
That's right, and bear in mind that those usually come character bound. So once you actually do that, you cannot sell them, you cannot give them out, you have to actually use them yourself.
And now we actually have a tool in game called, I don't remember what it's called, but
Artisan's Tool Augmenter, or is that what you? Oh,
it actually
maybe not that.
It rips the skin that you put on. It rips it off and puts on the original skin of the weapon.
Oh yeah, that's another tool. Yeah, that's another toolkit. And for the auxiliaries, you also have auxiliary casting toolkit. So you can use that in order to create the auxiliary weapon molds. Remember we said that molds and blueprints, they are separate for weapons and auxiliary weapons. So they use two different toolkits in order to change their appearance. Now, when it comes to auxiliary weapons, now that we're talking about those, just to remind you all that the new auxiliary weapon should be coming into the game with issue 10. At least that is what we've been told, and it will be from the magic type. So something to look forward to. Well, there's plenty of things to look forward to with issue 10.
Friendship is magic.
Yes, maybe it's gonna be like a rainbow something.
Rainbow Dash. Basically, pick up a pony, turn its rear end to everyone, and just start firing.
Yep, we can probably be here for God knows how long in order to get into everything in even finer detail, talking about weapons. As I've mentioned before, we will get into how to create decks and using weapons to create better synergies and using abilities on your decks and rotations next week. For now, I think that's it when it comes to weapons. If you do have any questions, you can always shoot us a tweet or send us an email. But for now,
But send
moving
us an
on.
email. Send us an email anyway. Send us an email, just showing off your deck or maybe some picture of you. Tell us what you're doing in game. It doesn't have to be any particular reason. Just tell us what you think of the game, how you're doing in Tokyo. We'd love to hear from you guys. And you never know, if you get your letter read on air, we just might send you a code for something
Maybe.
really, really cool. Oh.
Might get you a prize. Now, we have
And that's
had.
at beyond
Oh, sorry,
at
yeah.
gmail.com.
Yes, correct. Our email address is beyondtsw@gmail.com. Our Twitter handle is at beyondtsw. So do tweet it to us, do email it to us, get in touch. Moving on now to new items in the item store this week. It has been quite a while since we've had anything new. It used to be that we had something new pop into the item store every Tuesday, or at least once a week. Then it kind of thinned out. But in all fairness, Funcom's devs, especially TSW's devs who work so hard, they do get some time off as well during the summer, as many of us do. So now we've finally had several items. Luckily, girls got 2 summer floral dresses. If Xander would be so kind as to put up the item store so that you can see it if you have not seen it already.
You can't see girl stuff from my store.
Oh, that is
I don't
correct.
put that silly stuff there.
So yeah, they're 2 pretty cute mini dresses. Nice floral mini dresses. Nothing.
Are you gonna get one of those mini dresses, Gig?
Ooh, I might do.
And guys, well, Xander and Gigabyte at least, are you guys going to be getting the new coat that the gents got?
No.
You don't
No.
like it?
No, I don't.
I have it. Okay, right now I'm showing off the new female ones and I guess in the guys. Okay, yeah, for dresses you get the V-neck and the high neck, so that's cool for the girls. But like the open leather coat with fire motif jacket, it's like white or like an off-white. I already owned the black one, and to me there's no, unless I was a Templar, which I wouldn't be that dirty, I wouldn't wear it.
Hey.
Yeah, I know. He says that among 2 Templars. It's like, hello.
I'm married to a Templar and I don't even like her game.
You gon' get it, boy.
He's
You
gonna
gon'
get in
get it.
trouble.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a big fan of that new leather coat, to be honest.
No, it's there's nothing wrong with reskinning something and putting it into the item store. There's nothing wrong with that. But this coat you can buy for packs in Argatha. Or
Pangea?
in Pangea. I do believe, no, maybe, okay, don't hold me to that one. I thought I bought it for packs, but I might have bought it just on the item store itself. I got the black version. I liked it for a little while, and then I kind of outgrew it. So that's just my personal taste. There might be someone out there that's been saying for like the past 2 years, man, I wish these guys would just like give me the jacket of my dreams. Like, I so want an open leather jacket with fire motif, off white, man. I'm like so gonna like rage quit soon if they don't give it to me. And boom, here it is. Here is the jacket they've been waiting for like 2 years, and they are like, yes, take my money, take it. So
Shut up
of
and
course,
take
Hong
my
Kong will
money.
take it.
yeah, so each to their own, right? The jacket, I don't like it. It's a reskin. I already have the original, so other people might like it. Not just my taste. I don't. Now the surgical mask blue. I don't know. I ain't gonna take that either. I have way too many gas masks as it is. So if I
Yes,
find myself,
Illuminati's do.
if I find myself needing a mask at any point in time, I'm just gonna grab my, Illuminati hardcore respirator.
Yeah, there's I do believe, let me see, there's surgical masks in 5 different colors: yellow, white, pink, green, and blue.
Do girls get those?
Yep.
See, you
They
guys
come
get
for
3 items, and
I
guys only
know.
get one.
I know. I know.
That's
I
because
know.
we're
What
not
can I
pretty.
say?
But
Hey, you don't wear florals.
the funny thing is, you know, you know what MMOs do, right? MMOs will cater to the okay, it's no like big secret. They'll cater to the populace. Like, okay, what are you gonna do? You gonna spend $1,000 on the dude over in the corner, or spend $1,000 on a group of 3,000 women over on the other side, right? You gotta cater to the populace. It could quite very well be that either they had a backlog of stuff that they needed to put in, which they're coming off of vacation now, so I think they're coming off of vacation now, so I think they're getting back to work, stuff like that, and releasing some stuff. Or it could very, very well be that women's wear is actually selling more than guys. So that's why they're putting more women's wear. Well, because the mask, okay, both factions get it, both sexes get it. So, well, yeah, they could be a faction in themselves, right? But yeah, the 2 different dresses, it's the same dress, just a different textures on both dresses. Even though one's a V-neck and one's not, it's really the same dress. But the open jacket, just one for the guy. It could be very well that, like I said, more women stuff is being bought than men, especially since the dresses are kind of conservative. There's no like belly ring hanging out, or like half nipple corner boob thing. It's an actual presentable woman's dress, that a respectable woman, I guess, unless you're running around like Buffy the Vampire um, streetwalker. you know. Well, I was gonna go somewhere else, but Spooky already did that earlier.
Yeah. So, yep, it is true that girls did get better loot this time around. But that's not to say that, something similar to this or exactly the same, but tables are going to be turned, is not going to happen next week. Hopefully it does, and guys do get something that's, unique and not just a reskin of another color or just, another texture over model that's already out there.
I actually miss that. I miss I miss something new every week in the store. I miss
Yep.
that. Usually, even if it was just one thing, okay, we have four items here. This right here is a month worth of content to me. You put the mask up for 1 week. There's something new in item store. You put one of the dresses up. The next week, you put the other dress up. You stick the guy's jacket in there somewhere. Even one item, it would be really good if it was one male, one female, or one duo, one gender. What's that word I'm looking for?
Specific
Specific.
or genderless.
One genderless, like the mask is genderless, right? So it could be one genderless thing, or two, one male, one female item. I remember. I wish those days would come back.
It could be that, they released these 3 items, dresses, coat, and masks all together simply because they weren't there to release them sooner. They were on holidays. So it could just be down to that.
Mhm.
All right. Yeah. So, and I mean, the cost is, the masks are, I do believe, 60 Funcom points. Dresses, I do believe, are 360, if I'm
Can
not
I ask a
mistaken.
question? I want to ask a question to a girl. What the fuck is up with flowers on everything? I'm serious. Like on bras, they have little flower thingies and little lace little flowers that are actually sewn onto the bra and like on panties and in pantyhose and shoes and boots. Everywhere you go, there's like flowers on women, like clothing. Like, why?
Usually for girls, not for women. You don't find it everywhere. You do get it, but it's like squares for guys.
Squares? I don't have anything that has squares on it.
You're not square.
I'm hip to be a square. Dun, 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 dun. Yes, I'll throw a song in.
Or
if I can.
stripes. You guys get striped everything.
I don't do stripes, thank you.
You're right. But yeah, so hey, I guess girls just like flowers. Can't help it. We're flowery.
Oh, girls just like flowers.
All right, so yeah, we jointly agreed that yes, all hail to the item store items, the new ones, and yes, please, Funcom, give us more. Now, as we promised,
The chat channel says they stay away from flowery stuff. Thank you, chat channel. You vindicated me.
and as we promised, we're going to be telling you a little bit about the events that are coming up in the game. Those are all community-run events. There's a couple of PvP events, which, the PvP events don't really come that often, since we don't. We actually didn't have the monthly PvP duel tournament for quite a while, but the PvP community has organized themselves pretty swiftly and has been very creative in what they, how they want to do their little tournaments or just, different fights. So
the duel tournament's not around anymore?
It has not been organized for duration of the summer, I think. Could be that the organizers just simply, weren't able to do it, which can very well happen. Real life always comes first. But back to PvP tournament in August. As I said, PvP community has gotten together and they started throwing ideas back and forth, and then they were like, "Oh, would it be cool to have a themed, some kind of themed fight?" And they actually had a vote. We told you about that vote, I do believe, last episode. And the theme that was chosen for this August tournament was Shootout at the OK Corral. And that is happening this Saturday and Sunday, August 16th and 17th. It will happen on Saturday starting at 9 a.m. EDT. And Sunday at 3 p.m. EDT. This is the catch. Any participant has to be in QL10 green gear only. Okay? Signets are allowed as long as they're green. All right? None of the augments are allowed. None of auxiliary weapons. Skills which are allowed, being that this is Shootout at the OK Corral, are pistol active abilities, miscellaneous tree wheel abilities, and any passives. Like we said, any passive can be equipped to any weapon. So only pistol active abilities can be used. Okay? There's another twist to this. There's certain types of clothing that are allowed. So any, however appropriate, pistol shootout clothing of any style, era is highly encouraged. All right? So they're going all out. You have to look the part, you have to act the part. So this is going to be pretty interesting to see, and
Just
I'm
like
hoping
Gig.
Yes. There you
Yeehaw,
go.
partner.
See the gig? The gig.
Oh. Hey, look, you got that your belt buckle. That is the Jaybird from whatchamacallit? That dude that's making the fire and the Hunger Games. That's it.
Are those golden
You say so?
pistols?
They are indeed. They are Golden Desert Eagles.
Yeah,
I love the Golden Desert Eagle skin.
They're not really Desert Eagles. You know how I can tell.
They're not real. They're in a game.
And
That could be one reason.
there's something else that the Desert Eagles it's missing. That's really like a 45 Magnum, not a Desert Eagle.
Yeah.
You know how I can tell.
I don't really care.
Ow.
The hand grip is too wide, too wide for a Desert Eagle, and a Desert Eagle in front of the trigger has a handle actually flip down that you can hold on to, because the Desert Eagle has fully automatic.
Also, it's a game. I don't care. I call them my Golden Desert Eagles.
Okay. I fired one. I used a Desert Eagle before. They're actually really cool.
No worries.
Okay, so if you guys are interested at all in participating in this, do go to the forums or even our Twitter feed. You will find a link to the forum post where you can sign up. It will be happening, as I said, this Saturday and Sunday in Seoul Fight Club. Okay, in addition to QL10 green gear and green signets and no augments and no auxiliary weapons, you can use pots and animus. All right, and kickbacks and stimulants are allowed as long as they're green. So you can't use QL blues. There will be judges, there will be inspections that will make sure that you are actually complying with these rules. Another PvP event is organized by tswdb.com, and they actually have two events. One is Dress to Kill, which will be happening. It's a fashion show that will be happening at the Crusades Club in London. Also on August 16th, starting at 9 p.m. GMT, which is 4 p.m. EDT. It will be happening on Arcadia Dimension. So do remember to join the TSWDB chat channel in game if you would like to participate. You can get a lot more info from there. There's also prizes of bonus points for the first 3 winners of this fashion show. After the fashion show, they will hold a Stonehenge PvP event. Okay, that will commence around about 2 hours after the fashion show. After the end of the fashion show, Sirity and Bike Start will be managing this event, so you can contact. Yay for them! You can contact both of them if you have any questions regarding any of these 2 events. When it comes to the Stonehenge event, we also have it tweeted out on our Twitter. So do go to @BeyondTSW and you can check it out there. There is a link to the forums where you can also find more information about it. First, actually 12 random winners that they pick during the Stonehenge PvP event will actually receive bonus points, 300 bonus points each to be precise, plus some neat items. Ooh, I wonder what those neat items are going to be. Now, another event is happening on Saturday, 20th of September, Jackapalooza event, which will be hosted by Nine Swords Cabal and Gridstream Productions. It will happen, as I said, on Saturday, 20th of September, starting at 7 p.m. GMT and will last for about 2.5 hours. It will be held in Kingsmouth at Jack's Tree. Okay, on Arcadia dimension. There'll be music provided by Great Stream Productions, hopefully. There'll be competitions. There'll be a whole bunch of fun. And as they have mentioned in their forum post, this is going to be a larger scale community driven element to this event. Caitlin, who is organizing this event, is looking for representatives from cabals who would like to help them drum up support within their cabals for people to attend this event, to make it possible, to make the event possible and even more successful. If you are interested, or your cabal is interested in supporting this event, please get in touch with Caitlin via PM on the forums.
Highly unlikely, but if anyone doesn't know where Jack's Tree is, it's at 270 by 120 on the map. If you go to a big dead tree sort of thing. So if you haven't actually been to that area yet, it's worth checking it out. Just kind of find out where that is.
Yep.
So you know where that's going to be.
It's round about, like, when you enter into Kingsmouth, come out of the Agartha portal and go slightly to the right and keep on going. It's in that general area. If you've hit Norma Creed's house, you've missed it. So go back toward the Agartha entrance.
Yeah, it's kind
of that general area.
It's kind of, isn't it? Sort of, if I remember rightly, as you're going, as you come to the entrance to the sheriff's place, it's kind of off to the right, over that way.
Yeah.
Yes.
That as well. When you start heading toward Norma Creed's, but like cutting across. Yeah. Also, last event that we're going to be telling you about tonight is a Dragon Faction role-playing event. Okay, so this is something specific to dragons.
Everyone get in a circle and start
Not
rubbing
that
each other's
kind
feet.
of role play.
Sorry, Gig?
I said not that kind of role play.
No. It will be happening in Seoul on Arcadia server. There will be two events. One, they are very mindful that there's dragon faction members all over the world. So they are actually going to be organizing two events at two different time zones. One will be like a US based event, which will happen on Tuesday at 10 p.m. EST, which is 3 a.m. BST. And the EU event will also happen on Tuesday at 3 p.m. EST or 8 p.m. BST. So there will be about 5 hours difference between the two. If you do need a lift or more information on the event on Tuesday at these times, you can join the HARP channel in game. HARP, and you can find out all the information, of course, on the forums and via this in-game chat channel. And with this information, we come to a conclusion of tonight's episode 103. Hopefully we haven't confused you even more by talking about the weapons. If you have more questions, do send us an email and ask away. Our email is beyondtsw@gmail.com. Do not be shy. If you have any questions or comments, do feel free to forward them to us via email. But for tonight, this is all from us. I hope you have a lovely evening in the game. I hope you enjoy the game. And until next week, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, peeps.
Bye. And the darkest days. Oh yeah, bring it on down. Shake what your mama gave you. Have a milkshake. Shoot some demons in the face. Oh yeah. Boom, 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 boom.